Susan. Wait a minute.
Hi,
Find
Rolonda.
myself. I have to find myself. Hey, everybody.
Hey, look at all these wild women on here.
Yeah, look at everybody. Come on up in here. Come on. Hey, Monica, I haven't forgotten you. We need to continue our conversation.
I love you. Hey, girl, thanks. Good to
It's so good to see everybody. Wanda and Stephen and Brandy, y'all come on in. This is, I said to myself, I said, you do these reinvention retreats like pop-ups stores, like all of a sudden, like 24 hours we're doing it. So, but something, there was something in the air that I was picking up, and I don't know, it was tapping into a bunch of stuff. And then I saw my friend Stacey, and she was talking about script writing. And I was like, that's interesting. All of us, I'm this big firm believer that at the end of the day, all you have is your story.
Amen.
That's all you have. Don't we know that, Monica?
That's right. Amen.
Look, I met Monica because I interviewed her on one of these major shows. I had to put her on a lie detector.
And my mama.
And her mama. Isn't that something? Isn't that weird how you meet people? Come on in, everybody. This is going to be a fun day because, first of all, I want to say welcome. I gotta get my intro a little better here. But I figure like everybody knows me. Stacey, I love you. I love you for this. I love you for this. Stacey is just somebody. First of all, she's a sister that I really admire so much, and I think that's because she's been so kind to me and her family. But I have watched her as an artist, as a producer, as a writer, as an encourager, as a mama, as a good daughter, as a sister. When you see somebody 360, you're like, yeah, that's the person I need for this.
Well, look, I'm showing you my cup. This is for you. Hello, gorgeous.
Well,
might be
listen,
backwards. Okay, well, cheers. Thank you.
I have a little turmeric here.
Oh, thank you.
Stacey, I'm so glad you're spending this day with us. We have a group, it's just a crazy little gathering that we do, and we call it Rolonda's Reinvention Retreat. And I like the 3 R's because it's like, it's like, we got this. We got this. I love the word retreat. Hey, Mark, I'm so happy to see you.
How are you? How are you?
Good. Happy to see you.
Thanks.
I love the idea of retreat because, let's face it, it really is just like a free webinar, but we make it like the retreat because it's just so nice to treat yourself to such a great group of people where you're safe and you can talk about change. Change is not easy to talk about. And, it was so funny, Stacey, because your big thing is reinvent yourself. That's your buzz thing.
Yeah.
And mine is let's retreat and let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I think that when, a lot of y'all know, like a year or so ago, hey, everybody mute yourselves. There you go. I can always tell my audio ear goes out. But, about a year ago or so more, we were talking about reinvention. And I think people were like, what is Rolonda talking about with this reinvention thing? But that's what my life has been. Look, in fact, I'm in this magazine this week, y'all. They're calling me. I don't know if you can see it.
It's kind of, because your background, it's kind of blended.
Yeah, hold on. I don't even know why. I think I was playing with my virtual background yesterday.
I like that virtual background. It gives us the
Isn't that nice? I could be on the boat. I could be on the moon.
Absolutely. I like that.
I could just do nothing. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on. But I wanted to show it to you. But they're calling me the reinventionist, which is a real compliment considering that most of my reinventions have come from having to make the choice. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it was because I wanted to.
Yes.
But come on, Stacey. A lot of times it's because your back's against the wall and you got to find a new gig.
You listen. Okay, that part. We're talking about multiple streams of income, but also tapping into all the many gifts and talents that you have. That's really what it is just kind of unpacking, unwrapping these gifts that you have, that you've been blessed with. Like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, so.
Well, something, It's funny how I was telling folks, I said, sometimes I do these reinvention retreats like pop-ups, and people really enjoy the replays. They're all into it. And it starts a conversation. What drew me to do this today, and why I think, the law of attraction brought you here too, Stacey, is because I'm picking up too much energy of people. We're about to go into another huge wave of this whole COVID thing. The thing that brought us together when reinvention didn't make a lot of sense a year ago, it makes perfect sense this year. And it's going to make even more sense because we're going back down in deeper than ever before. And you're going to be stuck there with yourself in COVID again.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm finding that certain people, and I don't want to say of a certain age, because it doesn't even take a certain age. I think 20-year-olds are feeling this. They're feeling an irrelevancy.
Yeah.
Feeling if I'm not connecting with people and I'm now out there, I'm losing my mojo.
Yeah.
And you know something, my whole thing is don't let nobody take your joy. Don't let nobody take your life.
Right.
And don't take your story.
That's right.
I think our stories are the most important thing in what we're left with. So Stacey, I want you to talk with us today about, don't look at what COVID took. Let's look at what we got left, and so many great stories. And remember, we don't pay all that money to go to the movies to see a bunch of people sitting around happy.
Exactly. It's about conflict. Conflict is the essence of comedy and drama. So, of course, this has been a crazy year. We're at the end of 2020. Okay. What I'm trying to encourage people is 2020 is not over. 2020 might spill over into 2021, and people are like, I can't wait to get out of 2020. 2021 might have something even crazier waiting.
Even crazier.
So for me, I feel like, I have suffered loss this year. I've suffered some blows, but I've also had some great things happen out of this. My workshop, my writing workshop was born because I felt like people were just sitting at home, sitting on ideas, and had the need to at least reach out and touch people. And so that's what I did back in March. I just called like this, I got inspired by D Nice. I'm gonna say this, got inspired by D Nice because D Nice, sitting in his kitchen with his beautiful view, decided I'm going to do what I do and spin some records. And I was on that on that live that day when he hit, what did he hit, 100,000?
I was there when he hit 250,000.
I was there too. And then, then he gets up to 1 million. I'm like, I'm a part of this. It's crazy. But my whole thing was that from his home, from the comfort and safety of his home, that he could reach people all over the world. And it really got me to thinking about what I do. I love to talk just like you do. And I love,
we love that.
Love reaching out to people. And I just call like this emergency gathering. Let's just do this on this Saturday. And we were on this call for like 5 hours. I had people from all over the country on this kind of writing in the pandemic. I just said, let's write in the pandemic. And, to me, I have to just find the joy in the midst of this craziness. You have to, because as the old folks used to say, trouble don't last always.
That's
this
right.
Shall pass. And as a creative, I always encourage, look, Shakespeare wrote some of his greatest work during a pandemic.
That's right. And you know something? Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, he wrote Macbeth. He wrote 3, like during breakouts and stuff like that. And what's his name? Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity in the midst of that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we doing with our time? Sometimes we have to just come on in the room and just sit down with yourself.
That's right. And be still and know.
That's right.
I think that's one of the blessings that this pandemic has created, is that chance to regroup and kind of retreat, if you will.
Right.
And
right.
to really, when you don't have everything out there to count on, as Emerson says, if you don't go within, you go without, because everything you have. And I think that's what I did. And let me back up. Yeah, I was trying to get these, I actually have a very nice bookshelf behind me here, but every once in a while I look at the blowing palms and it's not bad. I don't know how to get the virtual thing off. Okay. Let me tell you this about Stacey. And Stacey, we have so much in common. I think I've worked on all of your shows.
You listen, and we have more to do. So.
Oh, please, let's do it. You know something? And you know, I want to be inspired. I'm looking at all this creation on YouTube
Yes.
and TikTok and IG Reels, and
Right.
there's so much creativity pouring around. Hey, come on in, you guys. That is so encouraging. And I'm like, if they can do that in 15 seconds,
That's
if
right.
I thought out a project, you know, now is the time to not get laughed at when I've got an idea. And
Mhm.
let's face it, Hollywood is built on the whole premise of what if?
Right. That's
What
right.
if? So Stacey Evans Morgan has made quite a business out of what ifing.
What ifing?
30 years as an entertainment industry veteran, Stacey is a television writer. She's a producer. She has credits on scripted series such as The Parkers, One-on-One. I was on that one. Jamie Foxx Show. I was on that one. Love That Girl.
Yeah.
Family Time and In the Cut. And most recently, the new DreamWorks Animation series, Madagascar, The Little Wild, currently streaming on Hulu and the Peacock network. You know, I play Edith on Madagascar.
Listen, it doesn't surprise me. You have that amazing voice.
Well, listen, if you have that amazing writer's pen, just write me on in there.
Listen, nothing but a word.
But let me also tell you this in terms of that's television. Now in film, Stacey wrote and directed the short film 21 Days of April. Didn't it showcase recently in the LA Black Film Festival?
Yeah, it's actually currently running at the S.E. Manley Short Film Showcase, and they're doing their thing virtual. They didn't let it stop, so they're actually running 140 films from filmmakers from all over the world through November 29th. So you can log on there. It's BHERC, which is for Black Hollywood Educational Resource Center.tv. And you can watch it there. And I was just notified this week that the film is also a finalist at the Orlando Film Festival and the LA Black Film Festival coming up later on. So people will get a chance. But, you know, through the film festival, I hope, you know, we'll maybe get some distribution and land it someplace where people can just go watch it whenever they want. But it was a labor of love. I literally wrapped production 7 days, not even 7 days, 5 days before everything shut down.
But that's, oh my God.
Literally, if we had not got that last day of production in, the movie would just be sitting. Literally wrapped it. And so, you know, during this time, I was like, look, I'd been in post-production and trying to, you know, just get it in its best shape, getting the music done and get, you know, just doing all of that. So that was amazing.
You make it sound so easy.
No.
I mean, I love that story. I'm a creature of deadline. Maybe that's the journalist in me, but I'm always crashing in right at deadline time. But come on, what are the thing I love about this, Stacey, is you can not only talk about taking things from a kernel existence of a thought in your head that's part of your story, but how you manifest that, not only getting your butt in the chair to get the script done and understanding that format, but then how to market it and then to stick with it. I mean, that's when this thing called faith comes through. Tell us that process. That's not easy. It sounds easy, but.
So no, it wasn't an overnight story. It was not easy. It was actually a passion project that I wrote that was a part of an anthology series that I sold like probably 5 years ago. I had a pilot deal with BET, with Viacom. And this project was, you know, something that we were going to develop, and I was in a 9-month development process, and then it just got put on the shelf. A lot of times, as you know, studios and networks, if there's an executive shuffle, then things that are currently on the table sometimes get put on the shelf.
Listen, there's COVID situations, they're called by different names.
Exactly. And so that's what happened. But I loved the story. There's a story within the story in the pilot that I had sold so much that I was like, I got to do something with this story. And I took that little kibble of a story and kind of reworked it as a short film, meaning 10 pages or less, right? And I entered it into a film festival contest. And they accepted it. They wanted to make the movie. It was going to be a movie made in 48 hours, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was just sitting. They didn't get it off the ground. And I'm like, I want to make this movie. And I just kind of stepped out on faith and said, I can direct it. And I reached out to my cousin, Vincent Powell, who had just graduated from USC from film school, got his MFA there. So he was in touch with a lot of guerrilla filmmakers and you know, hungry filmmakers. And before you know it, we just kind of put together a small team to make this movie happen. And I, you know, saw so many wonderful actors. That's what was encouraging. I saw a ton of wonderful actors and, you know, landed with Bertoni, Sinclair, and Borges Etienne as my two leads. And it's a beautiful movie. And so I decided at the end of last year, I'm shooting this movie. Top of 2020.
No matter what.
2020. Had no idea what was coming. My birthday's in January, so I always like to get the year started positive. And so we started pre-production and everything, and we shot in February. We shot 3 days. We shot a montage scene, and then we shot the scripted scene. The second day of our scripted production, woke up, getting ready to go to the studio, get the news that Kobe died.
Oh man,
I almost shut down production that day because I was like, that just took the wind out of me. And then, so I had to kind of regather myself and embrace.
Kobe would have wanted you to keep going.
Mamba mentality. I had to embrace his Mamba mentality. We got to the studio, we cried it out, hugged it out, talked it out, and then we ended up having a beautiful second day of production. Got it done. And then that third day of production was moved to March because I had to work around actors' schedules. And we finally got it done that first week of March. And that next week, country's on lockdown.
So we get you on this end of everything, knowing that things can get done, that the completion can happen, and that it happens when it's supposed to happen on its right time. Right. There's so many people who walk around with a great story in them. Mm-hmm. So many people who don't even understand the incredible power of pain and what you can manifest in terms of art and creativity through that expression. Mm-hmm. Sometimes like a wailing baby or a mooing cow, but however you get it out, there's a story that affects people, touches people, moves people. For people who are just like starting with that idea, like here I am, I got, a few more months to sit here. And I'm feeling a little bored and a little unnecessary. What can I offer to the world about my story? How do I begin to even? So
my favorite my hashtag that everybody knows me about, I have t-shirts, everything, is write the vision. Basically, write the vision. The secret to writing, drum roll please, is to write. That's it. And if nothing else, start with this. Get you one of these, get a journal, and start writing down these ideas. There's ideas that come to you specifically for you to manifest. And I always like to say, if there is an idea that sits with you all day, it's bugging you, it's nagging you, it tucks you in at night, sits at the end of your bed, in the morning it wakes up like, good morning, and rips those covers off of you, that idea was meant for you to write it. So if it's in poetry form, I wrote a book of poetry back in '95.
Wow.
When I was a big fan of your show and wearing those cute skirts like you were wearing.
Thank you. We had to get the guys to watch the show, so we had to show it.
Whatever it takes.
Listen, I was just looking at Maya Angelou's book of poetry. They turned a movie in from I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. They turned it into a movie. That part. Right.
So for me, I just had stuff in me. First phase was getting it out as poetry. This book of poetry ended up landing me a meeting with my future mentor, who was Sarah Finney Johnson, who at the time had launched the show Moesha. So anyway, I digress, but the bottom line is I feel like I want people to just get it out of here and onto the page, right? Then you'll figure out how it's supposed to manifest. Is it supposed to be short stories? Is it an essay? Is it a novel like Rolonda Watts? Yes. Is it a novel like my novel, which started off as a script? It started off as a script, and I ended up going backwards and I novelized it. But it's like, whatever that idea is it a book of recipes handed down from your great grandmother that you feel like would make a good book? There's so much opportunity out there to reach people. We're living in this digital age where we can get our stuff out there. Look what you're doing. You've created this platform of programming, of content, and we need it. I'm waiting for my Bruce Lee book to show up, the Shannon Lee's book, Be Water, my friend. It'll be here from Amazon today. I'm waiting for that because I'm ready to dive in. So there are people waiting to hear the words or the story that you have to tell. And it's a shame if you take it with you to your grave, because that's something.
Right. Listen, when Dr. Maya Angelou, who endorsed my book, told me when she read the manuscript, she said, don't you let this story die inside of you. And you look at a grave and you look across a graveyard and you say, look how many great inventions are plotted in that ground. Man. How many wonderful books and stories and pieces of music and poetry are in that ground with people who were so buried by life they didn't get to sing. Man. So this is that time when what's that they say, when you think that they buried you? No, honey, they just planted you.
That's so right.
This is a great time. And I always say it in my retreats, Stacey, I say, listen, shit makes gardens grow. You hadn't seen one rose garden without a whole bunch of manure that took it to grow.
That's right. That's right.
So take all of that stuff that's really mucking up your life and turn that into something, and let's churn that out. Stacey says, start off, #write the vision. Get your notebook. I like those composition books. I really do. And there's something I like about writing. I know Auntie Maya wrote with a number 2 pencil on a yellow pad, and that's how we both agree. I like that textual, I like the tactile kind of.
Me too.
Writing. A lot of people, listen, they're writing, Japanese girls are writing full-blown novels on their iPhones. There's a whole novel.
Say this too. Exactly.
Yeah. But however you do it. Let's take some questions. Anybody got, let me get my gallery view, and anybody got a question to start off with? Or Stacey, I'm so excited. Even, a lot of times in our reinvention, the people say, well, you can't reinvent the wheel. And I say, no, you can't reinvent the wheel, but you can reinvent the vehicle that gets you there on those wheels. It can be a tricycle, a red wagon, it can be a Maserati, however you're going to get there.
But let me just say real quick, because you are the queen of reinvention. That means tapping into your authentic self, Rolonda. When I first met you, you didn't know me, but I met you through your TV show in the 90s. You were huge and you were so fabulous and vibrant, and you were doing that thing. You were a news journalist. Then when we finally really did meet, it was as an actress, and I had no idea that you were an actress. I was like, oh my God, and you're funny too? I mean, so that's what we had to keep writing episodes to bring Miss Earlene back. Because
Earlene, that was my favorite role ever. But it also helps when you're in a nourishing situation where people believe in you and encourage that in you.
Yes.
I mean, how many times do you get allowed to just be free and with no judgment, and it works.
Put on a wig and you're somebody else, and you were so funny. And then you're a comedian, you're a novelist, you're probably a songwriter. I'm waiting for your album to drop.
Listen, something, and I will tell you, I've written some poetry and songs. I'm not even gonna lie, and some recipes too. Those are coming. I gotta pay some mortgage. But but I tell you what, the unabashed, unapologetic, I think, bravery and courage it takes to claim those parts of yourself. Only you can do that. Nobody's going to tell you, Rolonda, go be a stand-up comedian. They'd say that was the last thing a talk show host and journalist should be doing.
Right.
Then I would have never ever performed at Caroline's. I would have never had, so I just really believe that when you are in trouble, and sometimes you might have a great job, but your soul is trouble. And let me tell you something, people, I'm going to put it here right now. Fun is a lot better than fame.
Come on.
If you're having fun at what you do, who cares who knows? I still get a nice seat in a restaurant and people know who I am. I've been around 40 years. I ain't going nowhere. But I don't need people chasing me down the street, putting me all over the tabloids and all that kind of stuff. Just let me have fun and entertain you and give my gifts back to you because God gave them to me.
That's right.
And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of that is everything that we do is storytelling. I tell my voice acting students, everything they're doing is storytelling. Right. McDonald's tells a story. Every advertisement is storytelling.
Right.
Right now, under COVID, those audio books are through the roof.
Right.
Through the roof. In fact, I just turned my book into an audio book. The point I was trying to make about the wheel and the vehicle is sometimes we have to look at what we have already. Don't look at what they took. People have heard me tell this story. I was in Harlem and my apartment got ripped off. I was in my 20s. And I was just crying to my mom. I said, they took my pearls, grandma's pearls. They took my baby bracelet. Mama said, well, let's don't look at what they took. Let's look at all you got left.
Come on now.
Play the hand that you've been dealt, that you have left. And nobody can take the joy of your story.
That's right. I love it. That's it. That's your treasure. That's your treasure. Yes. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Anybody looking to write a book or Damaris?
Well, I always have so many stories. Well, life stories, family, and I always want to start writing something, but I never know where to start. Do you recommend? Is it okay to start at the end and go backwards? Start in the middle? Does it have to be in the beginning? I'm just very confused about the whole writing thing because I'm not a writer, but there's a lot up in here that, I wish I could put down on paper.
Well, it's not wish, you can. So you gonna start today, Miss Damaris.
Damaris.
So you're gonna start today, okay? And just think about what is the story that you want to tell. Then you have to have a beginning, middle, and end. You may not know all the details just yet, but if it's based on your real life, if you want to go from the end and back into it, that's fine. But I want to advise you to do is before you get down and get at that computer and light your candle and get your whole vibe ready and start writing, you're going to hit that roadblock if you don't have an outline. Okay. So you need to kind of just outline a bullet point or something. What are the points of this story that I want to tell? Okay. Because then what's going to happen is that's going to serve as your roadmap to start the journey to write. Because if you want to say, well, it all started in 1988. this inciting incident happened that's exciting and get you into the story, and then you don't know where you're going from there. So you need to know first, and then your first draft is going to be your really crappy draft. Allow yourself to know that it's going to be, that's your first draft. It's your spit draft. It's your vomit draft because you're just spitting it out. The whole art of writing is rewriting. That's what we do as writers. You rewrite. I don't even want to know how many versions of your novel you went through, Rolonda, before it went to. And you're probably still rewriting it because if you're like me, I look at stuff on TV that I have written and I'm up here rewriting. I was like, oh, we should have said this. We should have done that. But Damaris, sorry. That's what you want to start with. Figure out what story. Is it the story that you're telling that happened in high school? Is it something that happened in your family? What's the incident that's sparking you to tell this story? So that's what's called your inciting incident.
You start there and kind of add to.
Yeah, you're not going to tell us your whole life story. People want to be told a story. They want to go on a journey. Think of your favorite movie or your favorite TV show or your favorite book and look at where that writer started with that story. It's not started when they were born. It started when an incident happened. I got fired from my job today.
Right.
The divorce was final. I lost the baby. It could be very painful stuff.
Okay.
I was robbed. Rolonda came home and found, she was working and doing.
I found the red hair on my husband's bed pillow.
Come on, see, exactly. Which is,
But I got to tell you this, when I wrote Destiny Lingers, and Destiny Lingers was really me angry about a lot of things about love, being angry that I couldn't date white boys when I grew up, you know, that everybody had to be so segregated. I hated that shit. And down south. And then, and also being upset that I lost a man. I was 22. Really gets married at 22? But my husband cheated on me, and I never got over it. It was painful. So I wanted to work all of that out. And to be honest with you, Dee, I had the second half of my story. I knew she wanted to get back to North Carolina to meet the little white boy she always loved but couldn't be with because of segregation. And the story went in happily ever after, and we'd deal with race and class. But I didn't know what was going to get her there.
Right.
So I started writing the back half, the stuff that I saw. And then I said, what could possibly get her down to that island? And I said, the worst thing that would make her flee, an affair. And that helped me find another chunk of my life to put in that. And that's how that happened. So work with what you see. Like what Stacey was talking about, those characters will talk to you.
Yes, they will.
I mean, there are scenes in my book that the character, I've never been to Boston in my life. And it turns out that's one of those pivotal scenes. That character took me there. And it's just amazing what, you know, you start giving those characters flesh and body and ticks and clothes and all, mamas and them, and they come to life. So like we often say, your gifts will drag you where you have to go. And don't worry about being a great writer or how to spell. Just get it out. That's what Stacey said. Throw it up. It's, you know, if you can't be a great maestro without playing a bunch of bad notes.
Right.
And I look at, you know, drafts. I'm sure you do too, Stacey. Drafts of your, and Renee's a writer, you know, drafts of your first, and you're like, oh my God, that's what I wrote. Boy, that came a long way.
Right.
You know,
you had to do that to get to where you are.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna go back and read it. You go back and read it, and it's like, oh, no, we need to fix this. But that's the whole point. If you don't put it on paper, you don't have anything to rewrite. You don't have anything to edit. You don't have any, you know, compelling plot points that you can even put in the story because you haven't written it. So, yeah. So if you want to start at the end of the story and back into it, that's fine. Look at how many movies start like that. They start at the end and say, let me tell you a little story of how we got here.
And you'll see things. You'll see the gun that was put on the mantle.
That's
and then you'll remember, oh, I can tie this into, you know.
Yep.
Renee?
Yes. Hi, Rolonda. I'm so happy here. I mean, everything that you're saying is right. And one thing that somebody told me is that people get so upset because they want it to be perfect. Like they're like writing and they're like, this isn't perfect. And I was like that. And it took me 4 friggin' years to write this. Get Real About Love, which is my story of the cheating and infidelity weaved through 5 generations of Italian women and how I never wanted to find love and how I finally did. But it was very raw because I exposed my family. Like it sounds like Damaris might have a hot story about whatever happened with her mom or grandmom or whatever. So I went and interviewed all of my aunts who all got cheated on because they all warned me never to find love. So the things are very personal. So sometimes you got to get permission. I had to get a couple permission slips from people. But it was hard. Rolonda went through the whole process with me. I was on one of her shows and we've done a lot of fun things together, but visioning is the big key too.
Yeah.
And yes, I have visioned having Get Real About Love be a movie. And when I saw this, I was like, I just was talking about this yesterday. So
some of these self-help books make great series.
They do.
Find a character who's going through that. You know, I'm noticing if you're looking at all the streaming stuff, there's some wonderful shows where you take one quirky person in their quirky, horrible life, surround them with about 4 or 5 great friends, and you've got a series.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
And that seems to be the style. I mean, a lot of people are looking at their own lives and making that happen. So yeah. The opportunities, I think, are ridiculous right now.
The opportunities are great right now because you mentioned streaming. So besides the conventional avenues of broadcast and cable, now we have streaming. We have the app base, Facebook TV. We have all this, and the one thing that they all need, and I will talk about this more in my workshop, you will hear it, Rolonda, is they all need one thing: content. And they've got to keep that top shelf, especially Netflix and Amazon and the streamers. They've got to keep that top shelf replenished. Nobody wants to come to Netflix and see something from last year. They expect what's new this week.
That's
so
right.
Guess what? That means
that's where we come in, folks. That's where we come in.
Do you think that you can create a series just from your, what is the girl that created the series about all her girlfriends and all the boys?
Issa Rae.
Ray. She was in my neighborhood, filming in my neighborhood.
Right.
And that show was such a real, all about love and relationships, because that's my field. Right. As a love designer, but it, all the hurts and the cheating and the lying, that's what happens to every person. And it happened to me, and then I didn't get married till I was 45, and Rolonda knows my hubby. And that's when I met her on that show. I'll never forget it. And they were all talking about
those
men.
are the great stories. I mean, everybody wants to see the boy lose the girl, he get the girl back, then loses the girl. I mean, that's what love and romance and all that stuff is about. Stacey, I am so excited, and I'm not pumping your show, your thing, but I am, because I just believe in accountability. Part of our retreat, we break down retreat. It's recreation, it's enthusiasm, it's testimony, and it's taking the action. And I'm going to take your writing course, because I find I need accountability. Writing is the hardest thing in the world. And I just know, I said that I wanted to be the Beyonce of literature, to be a journalist who wrote a novel and a screenplay.
Love it.
The screenplay part is still lingering. It's still sitting there in final draft or whatever. And I just feel that if I take a course or something and, it's nourishing, and that I'll be able to pull through. I'll have accountability. So I'm going to see you. I'm joining your course. Tell everybody else about it.
You will be in good company. I have 2 New York Times selling authors who also signed up to take the class. So there are people who want to write TV, there are people who want to write animation, there are people who want to write film and everything like that. But it all starts with the script. And the fact that you've already written the novel, you're already ahead of the class, right?
Yeah.
You're ahead of so now you have to learn in screenplay form how to tell the story.
Right, like shrink it.
Right. So the class starts this Saturday. I say it starts on October 31st, Halloween, no tricks, just industry treats, but on both. Thank you very much. And it's a 4-week Saturday class from 10 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. So on the East Coast, 1 to 3:30. So it's not a chunk of your day. 4 weeks. The whole idea is to come in with an idea, and in 4 weeks, you'll have a first draft of a short form script. So you need to get in the habit of the process of writing dialogue and action. We'll go over format, we'll go over story structure and inspiration and so much more. And then the big thing is, I know a lot of people, so I bring them in as special guests, because guess what? Everybody's at home. So it's easy. So for this first session, I had, I've had Nkechi Carroll, who is the showrunner for the show All American. She's written for Bones. Amazing woman. I've had Esther Lou Withers, who currently writes for NBC's Good Girls. I've had my brother Bentley Evans, who is currently writing the Jamie Foxx show, the new Jamie Foxx show for Netflix. I've had Sarah Finney Johnson, who was my mentor, who created Moesha. She hired me to write on The Parkers, and now she made a shift from comedy, reinvented herself as a drama writer, and now she's writing on I forgot the oh God, don't make me mess up the name of the show, but it's based on a novel. The TV show was based on a novel.
Okay.
So 2 can play that game or something like that. I'm messing it up. I'll find it before. But my point is, really, we have a lot of fun in 4 weeks. You will find other accountability partners. A lot of times you need a writer's group just that you can call on, 3 or 4 people. Yeah. And say, let's read through the script. Let's do some punch up or what have you. That's what you will find. and I share a lot of resources. So you can sign up. It's 4 weeks. It's $250. Breaks down to $62.50 a week. You're going to get a lot, and it's you can sign up at Eventbrite. It's called Creative Leap, the Creative Leap script writing workshop, and creative is spelled with the number 8, so it's CRE, the number 8, TIV, the Creative Leap. And I put the number 8 in there because 8 represents and symbolizes new beginnings. So here's your new beginning.
Let's put that.
I teach, and I know how to teach this really well. I teach what I do. I'm not bragging on myself, but I love to share.
Yeah. Well, my gosh, you're already an adjunct professor at university.
Which I'm still pinching myself. I'm like, how did that happen? Another reinvention.
And y'all, by the way, Chapman University is one of the nation's top 10 films.
We just moved up to number 4. Just moved up to number 4 from number 6.
Number 4. Okay.
Yeah. So this is my 4th semester teaching in their film and TV program there, and so I'm just glad that I'm honored that they keep bringing me back every semester.
Well, we see why, Stacey, and we
Thank
thank
you
you so much. We really, really appreciate your time.
Oh my God, this
just the encouragement, and it just blows out another side of your brain to reach out and think outside the box. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Please write in the chat the creative. I got creative.
Here, I'll write it in here.
Yeah, write it in there so we can. And I did the hashtag write the vision. Y'all might want to follow that hashtag and see what's been following Stacey.
Yeah. So I'm writing it in here. Script writing workshop, and thank you for having me. I love a good retreat, so yeah.
Well,
this will be my fall cohort. We had about 40 people, literally, in the summer we had, and some of those people have gone on and shot. There it is. It's on Eventbrite. Some of those people have gone on and shot their short films. About 3 of them that are in the same area, they formed their own, writers group.
That's right.
It's really inspiring because during this time, and let me tell you something about animation, because you work in animation.
I know. That's why I want to get in there too, man.
Listen, animation is a blessing because animation is COVID friendly, because right now, what we're doing on this Zoom, this is what writers' rooms are doing across the board. There's no one coming to studios. This is what we are doing, okay? So, so right now, animation is really popular because you can have the animators working from where they are, the writers working in this room. It's a beautiful thing, and that's what I did with Madagascar, A Little Wild. I went in for a couple of meetings, but after COVID hit, it's like everything by meeting like this, or sending emails, giving me my notes, and you turn in your script, and then it's over. Sends over to the animator.
The voices for animation, just like the Brady Bunch here.
I mean, the actors do it from their home, and you're going to teach that because I'm going to take that voiceover workshop.
Take my voiceover workshop. Damaris is in it. Who else?
Well, I'm going to take it.
But you know what I find is that's what I love about the class situation. Mm-hmm. I teach them, but I'm also taking them because it keeps the momentum of your dream going. The momentum is so important, y'all.
Lifelong. Yes, I'm a lifelong learner.
So the more you do that, yes, and knowing how to do it right the first way. Now I can go look at YouTube and learn how to do it. I can go watch Final Draft video and learn how to do a script, but that's not going to be the same as working with Stacey. That's not going to be the same as having 20 other people that I'm like, we were in that class together and I'm so inspired, and you are targeted and intentional at that time for that dream to come true for you. You cannot manifest it without, as my mama say, God believe in matching grants.
I love it.
And you got to meet him halfway. You got to do the work. And so whether it's this program or another program or something, do something to batten up the hatches of your dreams.
I like that, batten up the hatches. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's it for me. Stacey, you have anything else you want to say?
This was so amazing. Also, I just want to encourage your followers, if you get a chance, check out The War of Art. I don't know if that's on the screen backwards.
No, I actually see it.
The War of Art is amazing. It's break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles. It's by Stephen Pressfield. You can read it in one sitting and you will be so inspired.
Amen.
I'll get that. Oh, you got it too.
Monica has hers. There you go. Look, I keep mine very nearby. So it is really great. So good writers read. So get your hands on as many scripts. If there's a show that you want to write, try to get your hands on those scripts. Renee, you mentioned Issa Rae with her show Insecure. Well, her show started, just real quick, I know we got to wrap up, but her show started as a web series. So she had the vision just to tell these stories about being in her early 20s and being this awkward Black girl, which has now manifested into Insecure. So, you know, and
crazy. These shows are so much like the Jerry Seinfeld thing. They're just shows about nothing.
Right. Well, they're just shows.
Everybody loves shows about dating, sex, and that's my whole life. I ran rapid dating and saw all sorts of crazy ass stories of people doing crazy things, and have helped many people find love. That's my job. But Get Real About Love is about your lineage and how you get screwed up from your family, and if you don't heal it, you know, you just keep repeating the patterns of cheating and fear. You know,
great title. I love that title. I love that title.
Yeah. Get real about love, because it's getting real with your family. And during COVID, people have time to do that now.
Can you imagine, girl? They're gonna be divorce parties after this. I mean, you either really like who you're with or you really don't. But you know
that is so true. It is so true.
Right.
So many couples don't even know each other. It's like they never really were home alone. And you know, I get calls every day about that. It's wild. Wild. Well, I love this. This has been awesome.
Well,
really awesome.
We'll do it more often, and you know, I do these things like a pop quiz. It's like a pop-up store. Okay, we're going.
Love it.
But you know, people have signed up for it. They're waiting for the replay already. There are about like 500 people who sign up. They said they don't come to these all the time, but they want those replays.
Oh yeah, the replay is what's up.
Yeah, you'll be getting some good attention, and I'm so proud of you, Stacey. You just keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to work with you again one day. And y'all follow Stacey's shows and scripts and
follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'll put it.
Say, where's your stuff?
It's just Stacey Evans Morgan on everything. Just all
Stacey with an EY, y'all.
EY, Stacey Evans Morgan on Instagram, on Twitter. Well, I'm SE Morgan on Twitter, but I'm really active on Instagram and Facebook. And let's engage. We're about to go into we're in the final fourth quarter of this year. And, you know, we can decide that we want to write a happy ending or a not so happy ending. It's up to you. And how do we want to
happy endings, I think.
I like happy endings.
Definitely been looking for a happy ending.
So it's up to you. And yeah, I hope to see some of you in the class, and we'll have a ball. And thank you, Rolonda, for giving me this opportunity to
You're so welcome.
share. I really appreciate it.
I enjoy it.
Really great.
It just inspires so much. You know, I'm tingling all day now. I'm starting to think a different way. I'm looking at things differently. I'm going to pick up that book. You know, I'm on a trajectory now. So that's what this is about. This is what the retreat is about. So we can get back out there and retreat the world with our gifts.
There you go.
Exciting.
All right. Love you guys. Have a super day. And until the next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
you guys. Good luck on your jobs. I might be seeing you in your class. I really like this. This is awesome. I have another guy for you too. I'm going to send him. I need a place to send him, so I'll send him to this. Stacey Evans.
It's just 4 Saturdays. It's going to go so fast. It's going to blow your mind.
No, but you ought a creative leap script writing. I have to get this copied so that I can send. He just called me yesterday because I want my idea to be a movie. I said, well, stand in line.
Stand in line,
everybody.
Right.
Do
we need final draft and all that?
So Final Draft has a 30-day free trial if you want to do that. That's the industry standard, so I always encourage that.
Yeah, I think I have it.
You know, if you're balling on a budget, you know, Celtics, it's CELTX. They have a free software. And yeah, I mean, I say if you're going to invest in yourself, you do it.
Be a baller. Go for final draft.
That's right. And they have a 20% off thing right now. And final draft is just, it's easy. It makes your life easy. So that's what I encourage. I'm going to encourage all the students. So if you sign up, we'll send you everything that you need to have. And you just need to come prepared for the first class with just an idea. That's all.
All right. Well,
let me ask one more question. When you have a book, is it easier to convert? Because I made it in the scenes already in there, like almost to inspire somebody to make it a movie.
If you've written a book, you're half the battle's already done because you've already written the vision. So now you just got to figure out structure wise. There are things that books are very expository. So we don't need to know every little step that he takes. We just need to know that he entered the room, right? So you just have to figure out a quicker way to get there. We don't know how many stairs he went up, unless that's something visual that you want to show, then yeah, you put that in there. So we'll talk about all of that. So
that's great. God, this is a godsend for me because I was just thinking about it. So, everything you think, I always say everything you think, everything you say, and everything you vision comes true.
Yes.
And believe me, Rolonda and I did a vision board class at her house. That was one of the most powerful days, wasn't it, Rolonda?
Yeah.
I'm big on vision board.
Vision is everything.
Visioning is everything.
You have to see it. If you can see it, if you can see it here, then you can manifest it.
That's right. That's right.
It is done. It is done. I'm already there.
I can't wait to see your movie or your TV series, Renee, Rolonda. I can't wait. This is definitely going to be a film. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then we also, listen, I'm an entrepreneur, so we're also going to talk about crowdfunding and things of that sort. So how can you, if you want to try to independently shoot, because I'm a big on, I'm an independent filmmaker. So
right.
You don't have to wait for something.
And I'm looking forward to discussing in the class. Discussing in the class. How do you know if it's a series or a movie? Do you get one shot out of it? Or do you spread the joy for a while? I mean, where's the money? All that kind of stuff. That's going to be good talk. Good talk.
We're going to talk about all that, the business
You
of the
cover
business.
that in your class, eh? All of that?
We are going to talk about that, and that's a really good question. How do you know what it is? I mean, some series have spun off from films.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with right now myself.
So it's like basically we think about what's the end of your story. And then do you want to tell that over a series of time, or could this be a limited series? Because now limited series are a big thing. They are an official thing. Limited series meaning 4 to 6 episodes.
And they tell that story. Like they got you see a lot of plays, Boys in the Band, House of Flowers. They've spread those out into series. Just to little things like. Yeah, I just love it. There's a new way to think. We have to reinvent the way we think to reinvent our work because the world is so changed right now. But that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah. Reinvention. If we're sitting on ideas from 2015, come on, we're going into 2021. We have to move with the time. That's right. And I just get concerned that folks will feel like, oh my God, we're going even deeper. Who knows what's going to happen with this election? But don't forget your dreams. This is your manifestation of reality, no matter what is going on out there. As Jerry Seinfeld once said, we are the masters of our domain.
That's right. And on that note, goodbye, reinventionists.
All right.
Have a great day. Love you again, Stacey.
God bless. Let's talk, Rolonda. We got to talk.
I'll see you guys soon. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Great job.